My name is Cassy Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. Today, we are going to explore curiously the topic of creating your own reality, but also creating you. So growing up, being a teenage girl, I was always trying to find me. I was on this kind of exploration of finding me. I remember even writing in my journal. I used to do a lot of journaling as a child, and writing, I'm 16 years old and I am lost. And at the end of the journal a year later, I was like, I'm 17 years old and I'm still lost. It was though I was always looking to find me. And through my exploration of consciousness, what I've learned is that this finding ourselves is really defining ourselves. And once we start defining ourselves, we actually create multiple limitations. So if you haven't found you yet, if you haven't defined who you are or figured it all out, that's actually a beautiful, wonderful place to be. Because now anything is possible for you from that space. However, what we want to get into is a continuous generation and creation of you. Now, why is that? Because if you don't create you, if you don't create your reality, this world will. And we've seen it. Our parents want to tell us who we are and define who we are. Our coworkers, this world, if you're a woman, if you're a man, if depending on your profession, if you're a parent, if you're a bachelor, the world will define you for you. And the world will create your reality for you if you're not willing to be the source, to be the creator of yourself and your reality. So what can that even look like? Sometimes when we're exploring these concepts, they can be so broad and to invite some questions in today's podcast to get you to access your awareness so that once you start to play in that realm, you can use these generative energies to begin creating your reality and your life you're living, and essentially yourself. So everywhere you've been looking to define yourself rather than creating yourself, will you let that go? Will you undefine yourself? Will you let go of the limitations of every definition? If you're even defining yourself as a mother, now you have like a whole set of right and wrong check boxes that you're supposed to fulfill. If you're an entrepreneur, now you're defined as that. If you're it's gender, it's age, it's all these definitions create less possibilities for you. But when you're willing to let those go, that doesn't mean that you stop being a mom, but it means that you don't have to align and agree with what it means to be a mom. You don't have to resist and react with what it means to be a mom. Now here's the defining of you, but it also goes, so let's look at your whole reality. So I've realized that I've always had a different reality than the people around me. I've had a different reality with beauty my whole life. I've had a different reality with with sex, with sexual partners, my whole life. My reality has been so bizarre and different, and because there was no one there to acknowledge it or validate it, I started to really wonder if I was crazy or if I was wrong for having something so different in my world. Have you ever felt that way? So bizarre that you just didn't get something that you knew you're supposed to get, that you didn't just naturally come in with that same point of view as other people. So part of what will get you clarity here is to first clear out where you have made other people's realities your reality. And you can go as far and bizarre as you want to go here. Because when you really start to strip away, all of the stuff that you've bought, even about the world, you can sometimes enter a space where you seem to not exist anymore. And that was part of my journey. So as I started to strip away these definitions, to strip away these limitations, to destroy and uncreate every single reality that I bought was mine that was not mine. And when I'm talking about a reality, I'm talking about, what's your financial reality? What's your sexual reality? What's your relationship reality? What's your reality with bodies? We think that there's one reality. There's not one reality. How do we know that? You can take two people that kind of come from a similar background. They could even be friends, and they could witness an event, the exact same event at the exact same time, and they would describe it differently, and the event would have occurred differently in their world because it occurs based on their own reality. There are infinite realities going on this planet. And if you're not willing to create yours, you're going to get swept up in everyone else's. So everywhere you've been swept up in everyone else's reality, that's okay. Just acknowledge it and start to get clear on your reality. So that non-exist thing. So we kind of exist here based on the definitions that we've bought about ourselves and the realities that we've aligned and agreed with. Just think about it. If you woke up tomorrow with amnesia, you'd totally forgotten who you are, would you still exist? Now, you would exist based on what everyone remembers of you, but what if they were gone too? No one knew who you are, and you didn't know who you were supposed to be. Now that space, some people feel scared, feel alarmed by, but that's that space of the blank canvas where you get to start to go, whoa, well, what is true for me? What would I like to create in the world? And you kind of become this magician of the canvas of your life. So let's start with financial reality, okay? So I grew up really poor, and the city that I lived in was a smaller city that actually has quite a high amount of millionaires per person, but everyone hides money there. So that was the reality of the city I grew in. If you have money, hide that you have money. And there was a lot of poverty there, and a lot of kind of trades as far as jobs. So the industry there is a lot to do with logging. It has a lot to do with mill working. Okay, so we have a lot of those kind of jobs going on there. You're starting to get a sense of this energy that I grew up in. So there's this, you work hard, you work physically hard, you work hard for money, and money is difficult to come by. And when you have it, hide it and don't flaunt it, and don't, show it off to people. Don't talk about money. ever. So this became this reality that I was aware of. So the moment I aligned and agreed with it, I went, okay, this is what reality is. I start to create my life from that reality. So that means when I enter into the job world, I have to work hard for my money, and I have to use a lot of physical work. So I became a server, and I would serve food to people, and I would be run off my feet and exhausted, and but I would make good money because I worked hard, and those that didn't work hard didn't make good money from my point of view. So I bought in, and then when I had good money, don't flaunt it. I would hide it and diminish it, which also shows the universe that that I don't want more money, that I'm not willing to receive more than I can hide. Wow. So have you ever not been willing to receive more than you thought that you could hide? So this is the reality that I aligned and agreed with. And then I went into resistance and reaction. I moved to another province where people were booming. It was kind of a boom city at this time. It was a way bigger city. People were having a lot of ease, generating a lot of money at that time. It was kind of an oil field industry. And so I got into office work in the oil field, and then started to get a sense of the reality that was present there. It was different than what I grew up with. Here, you wanted to show off how much money you had all the time, but everything was about money. Everything was about working. There was no sense of, joy of living. And it was all about make the money, show off the money you made, make the money, show off the money that you made. But I had a trouble aligning and agreeing with this new reality, but noticed that I was in resistance to the old reality that I had grown up in. Nowhere in here is there any freedom for me to have truly known what my financial reality was. So I'm going to invite you to actually get out a pen and paper and write this down, and write down what is your financial reality right now. And you can notice it by just what is your life. So the way you've created your life, that is your financial reality. So if you have to work hard for money, that's your financial reality. If money comes easy to you, and you don't have to work hard for it, that's your financial reality. If money is provided to you by someone else, that's your financial reality. If you have to work for it and you're the source for money, then that's your financial reality. You see what I'm saying here? So everything that's going on in your world regarding finances is a product of the reality that you have created for yourself, or you have aligned and agreed with, or resist and reacted to. And in order to resist and react to anything, you have to have already aligned and agreed with it. So make a list of this, and not just financial. What if you wrote down relationship reality? What is your reality with your body? Some people have an aging reality that I just don't have. I've never had it. Some people have a relationship, like their reality with their body is if they eat unhealthy food, they gain a lot of weight. Other people have a reality with their body is when they can eat whatever they want and their body's just happy and does whatever it wants. What is your reality with your body? What's your reality with relationship? What's your sexual reality? What's your reality with your family? Keep going, write it all down and really explore this and get curious. And so now you get, okay, so you have all this awareness on your page, and you can look at it and you can ask, do I like this? Does this work for me? Would I like this to be my reality? That might bring up something for you. I know it did for me when I first heard it, because my point of view was that, hey, this world shaped me. Through my experiences, it showed me what was possible and what was impossible. I didn't have choice in my reality. That's not true. What's true for you will always make you feel lighter. What's not true for you will always make you heavier. So look at that for you. Did you create your reality? Did you allow this world to create your reality for you? That's the alignment and agreement part. So when you start to look at your list and you go, okay, you know what? These elements, maybe you love, you're like, yes, this is so true for me. I love this. So take those and put them on their own like beautiful page. And then the ones that don't work for you, the things that you'd like to change, start to energetically destroy and create everything that you did to align and agree with these realities and make them real and true for you. Your brain might argue that that's not possible. It can't be that easy. You can't just go, you know what? I'm not going to align and agree anymore that money is hard to come by and then I have to work hard for money and then suddenly money pours in. But what if it actually was that easy? So first you're gonna destroy and create everything you did to align and agree or resist and react to it. And you have to include the resist and reaction part too, because in the story that I shared, in order to change my financial reality, I thought I had to fight it and resist and react to it by choosing kind of an opposite reality. That didn't work either because I had these both, and now these two realities in conflict in my world. And a conflictual world often does not create the peace, the ease, the joy, and the glory that having a congruent world can be. So part of what we're doing here, and as we're exploring this together, is to create a congruency in your reality with you as a being, not you as this defined person that has been defined by everyone around you and by you aligning and agreeing, resisting, reacting to a lot of things, but you as an infinite being, completely undefined, of infinite energies, spaces, possibilities. So when the being that you are becomes congruent with the reality that you're creating, oh, wow. Do you have that sense of infinite, truly infinite possibilities? So explore this. And then, so now you've taken this list and now all the things that you don't desire anymore, as you clear out that energy, as you let those things go and you let go of the resistance and you let go of the alignment and agreement, you're going to have this space open up, this undefined space. And that's the magic space where you get to start to create something different. You can ask yourself this question: what truly is my reality with money? And notice what pops up. When I ask that question, I often get little memories of being a kid and just enjoying having money. You know, you would get money from birthdays or Christmases, or, you know, you see family members and they'd give you a little bit of money, and I would just love to have it around me. And everyone would ask me like, well, what are you going to spend it on? Or what are you saving for? And for me, my reality wasn't about that I ever had to spend it. It was that it was a contribution in my life just by being in my life. And that's weird, right? And this is what I mean by being willing to have realities that don't match other people's realities. I felt, and eventually I started to align and agree that that wasn't appropriate, that there was a certain way that you're supposed to be with finances. It didn't work out for me very well to align and agree with this reality. So when you ask yourself, what is my reality with this? You might get memories, you might get just senses of energy coming up. You might get a whole like universe of ideas. And I'm going to invite you right now to explore that curiously. What is this? What do I know about creating and generating money that no one's ever told me? What do I know about possibilities with relationships or copulation? What do I know about bodies having sex together and what's possible there? I've also been very, very different. And I think we're going to have a whole nother episode on the whole sex topic, but what do you know about that? What do you know about all of this that you've never been taught and you've never been acknowledged for knowing? You can ask yourself and acknowledge it for yourself and through that. So the moment you acknowledge what's true for you, you are actually creating that as your reality. And things will just start to shift and change. You probably won't be able to even cognitize all the things that are going on. But when you can go to that new space of, whoa, what is true for me here? And then you get that sense of lightness, and then you acknowledge it as yours. I may have lived a whole life where money was so difficult and so hard, but my sense is that it's an energy that you can just invite into your life, and it will come with joy and ease and glory. Claim that as yours. And anytime something pops up that fights that or argues that, just lower your barriers and move that energy away. Okay, that's not mine, that's okay. So you might be doing a lot of house cleaning as you're clearing out all of these realities that are not your realities, all these definitions that are not your definitions, and the connection of you, what you've defined you as, to these realities. So if you made working hard right, so maybe you had a parent that really, like, they acknowledged that you're such a hard worker. I'm so proud of you. You're amazing. Okay. Now that just became very valuable, that you're a hard worker. So this would be something that would be trickier for you to let go, because the things that we think are right about us, we never want to let go, but it locks you into being a hard worker. And if that's not your reality, then you're incongruent in some areas. Your being is incongruent with your reality. So to create that congruency is to really get clear on what is your reality in this area, and are you willing to undefine the parts of you that support and validate that reality that you're holding in existence. And then you're going to have this, well, who am I then if I'm not the hard worker? I used to be the reliable one. Growing up, my parents divorced at a pretty young age. My older sister was the wild one. And then my little sister, she was the baby, and she required more. And so then and my mom, had a lot going on. So I would turn into the reliable one. I was the one that was always, I can fix the things that need to be fixed. I can be the grounded one. I can be the rock for everyone. I can be the reliable one. I became that in my friendships. I became that everywhere. In the workplace, I was the reliable one. But with that had a lot of, to me, a lot of bondage. I almost see chains, like where I felt locked into a lot of things, and I was held to that. So in order to continue to be the reliable one, I could never just show up without responsibility. I could never just choose me over someone else's need, because as the reliable one, I also had to fulfill all the needs around me. This is how it was all tangled up. So when I let go of being the reliable one, there was a bit of a growing pain. And I actually had some people say, I can't even rely on you anymore. I remember having like a lot of upset about that, but then realizing that that was okay, because I was giving that up, and that it didn't mean I loved them any less and that they loved me any less. We were just transitioning. Now I joyfully get to be the unreliable one. So when there's like a family dinner, no one asks much of me. I get to be the unreliable one, but then I come in with my energy of chaos, and I get to, bring the stuff that just lights me up, and be that addition to the reliable sources. But I had to let that go, and I had to let the identity of that go, and how it connected to all these people and to all these things. And it also connected to realities that I was maintaining by being that reliable person. What an exploration, what a journey to go through these spaces and to get clarity on these aspects of you as a being and your reality. And what you will start to notice when you become more and more congruent, you as that infinite being, congruent with your reality and in creation. So in that congruency, here's the thing, it doesn't become a solid definition. Like we said before, you don't comment, you're not trying to create a new definition. You actually create this energetic congruency that will continuously move and morph and change as you evolve. As your consciousness expands as a being, it will continuously be changing. Your reality will be changing, and you as a being will be more and more and more. And that's the possibility here. When you're willing to go beyond the confines and definitions of reality as it was presented to you, as you had aligned and agreed and resisted and reacted to you, you get to actually start to become the creator of not only your reality, but the future of the world, because we are also connected. So as you become more congruent and you continuously create you and create your reality, you are inviting the world to this. And then you become a leader. And I'm not saying leader like you're the boss or you've taken up a leadership role, but those that are moving forward and creating with consciousness become the leaders for a more conscious world for us all. And it might look like it's just your own little world, but it's our world. It's everyone's world. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you explore this so much more beyond what we explored here today. It's just the beginning of getting intimate with your reality and with you as a being. What is truly possible? Thank you for exploring the curious universe with me. Your curiosity matters. And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?